Good morning, good morning, good morning, you beautiful stars. Oh my goodness, good morning. And yes, I'm messing with stuff over here. All right. Good morning, beautiful stars. I'm Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. Lori, I see you in the chat. Good to see you, my dear. For those who are new here, thank you for subscribing. I am Courtney, host. And forgive me, my voice has been going a little bit in and out, but I've been trying to protect it all week so I could give this message to you today. And I'm not able to use my mic with this setup just yet. I will have a new setup coming soon. So for anybody that comes in the chat, normally I do try to say good morning to everyone. I have no idea. Give me a moment. Supposedly I've been going for a minute now and it's not playing. There we go. All right. Now I think everything's up and rocking and rolling. Good morning. Today, January 5th, 2024. Sorry, I just had a reminder. It's someone I love. It's their birthday today. I have to remember to say happy birthday to them. I am doing a 2024 predictions video today. But once I start, do know that this is going to be probably multiple parts. I am not going to be able to do it all today, and you'll understand why as I continue. As I'm kind of briefly going through things here, I say hello to everyone in the chat. I'm not going to be able to look at the chat as much today because I'm going to have to stay focused. So good morning, Coke Queen. Good to see you. I want to be fully transparent with everyone. I'm a little bit nervous to do this, a little bit. And as I speak, you'll understand why. I don't believe I've ever done it in this way before. Just boldly come out and said things. So a little bit of a backstory, and a lot of my backstory comes out in the Edgar Cayce life skills studies because my life is very parallel with Edgar. I think it's part and parcel to those who can communicate with the Akashic. I, for many years, shut down my gifts with a lot of booze. Let's say it that way, with a lot of booze. And then even when I was getting sober, then I shut down my gifts with pharmaceuticals. Many of the regulars here know this. And then when I got off the pharmaceuticals, January 1st of 2015, a lot of everything started flooding back in, my gifts. And I had never been taught as a child and young adult, to be responsible with these gifts. So there was a lot of growth and development and obtaining more understanding about what I do. I started actually practicing the Akashic in 2016. So just a year off of coming back, let's say, to who I am. And then in 2017, I really was getting a bunch of messages that all came to be true. The big stuff that's happened. But I wasn't here. I wasn't out into the world like this. So I had only told loved ones, right? So when I put this out here, that I was going to do it this way, I remember I turned to my husband and I said, Brad, I'm going to do a 2024 prediction show. And he looked at me and said, do you think that's a good idea? Do you want to do that? And I paused and I went, well, I already said I would, so, I guess I am now. there is great responsibility with things, but I also learned last year that I can no longer hold back, but there is a way to do things, right? There is a responsibility yet and still. I am going to tell you everything that is written down as of right now, but there's kind of a layer to this that we don't have all the information just yet. So I am about to go into that. Good morning, Seeker, Shelly. Good morning. Thank you for being in the chat. This morning, also, when I reread everything, the Akashic last week said no, come Thursday morning, so it's not in your mind, right? So you don't even have to think about it. So I just got this message yesterday, and then this morning I was up with my coffee and I said, oh goodness, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna do it this way. The whole world. But yet and still I accept it. And I have a morning routine in the shower that by the end of my morning routine of cleansing and whatnot, it is actually accepting who I am. I do a lot of my I am statements. It's full acceptance of who I am every day. Every day I have to accept who I am. Yesterday I went to a bookstore and I got a new Edgar Casey book. I was very excited, but it was his life through his eyes. And like I started reading the back of it and I almost started crying in the bookstore and I went, okay. It's not so easy. But I do accept who I am. And every day, if you guys need to start practicing that, 2024 might need you to do that, to come into full acceptance of who you are. Every day, it's kind of like how you gotta choose your spouse every day. You gotta choose this every day. You gotta accept yourself and choose yourself every day as well. So I am a little bit, I will say I'm a little bit nervous, especially because of how I have to begin this. And, but I do want to be sincere and transparent with all of you. And I would love everybody here to start calling me Court. I want to be intimate with the viewers and transparent and sincere. And those who know me and those who are in my sphere of love, which all of you are, call me Court. I don't really go too much by Courtney. It's a great name. It's fine. But I'm throwing that out there. We can all just call me Court so we can have that kind of more personable relationship. So, good morning, good day, you beautiful stars. To have a little bit of why I can't do all of the message right now. I'm going to take a sip of water, folks. So I randomly made the decision, I'm going to do a prediction show today. And then, like a few days leading into the new year, as I am turning the calendar over, a little voice went January 20th. And I went, oh shit. And then like a few days after that, I found out that Pluto is making a very big transit on January 20th. So this all makes sense to me. So this past year, I was invited to attend a galactic meeting. And this is not just a meeting. This is like the galactic conferences. Like huge major conference. They all come. So this is going to sound wild and weird to everybody. I listen to other people who have had experiences with galactic meetings, right? Quote unquote. And some of them are terrifying and scary. That's because they hopped into accidentally or whatever it might have been that transited them into um, that particular meeting, right? There's different groups, there's different beings, there's different structures, galactically even. Um, so some of them are scary. That happened to me once, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Nope, I'm coming back," um, because that is who those beings are, right? I know everybody just thought of Star Trek probably in their mind, or Star Wars, right? Everybody just thought of Star Wars, like, oh, there is good and evil out there in the galactic kind of thing. Um, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, and I'm not even talking about those who say the Galactic Council. Um, there's two. This is a galactic council but it takes in all the parts. Think of like think of like our Senate in the United States, or over in the UK, the Parliament. Think of when Parliament comes together, or our Senate here. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of meetings. Okay. I was invited last year to go, and you have to be invited. I also have to, somebody has to come and get me. I have to be escorted in. A lot of stuff, right? I have to pretty much just keep my mouth shut, just witness. Um, that was, I don't know, it was sometime, and it might have not have been it might have been the tail end of 2022. I don't exactly remember. This is like my fourth now. Three, four, I don't remember. I know. Everybody went, she doesn't remember? This is not, I don't remember. What I've learned though, and I have to bring this up because why? There's another one on January 20th, which is going to be big. And then like I said, I learned how Pluto is transiting into Aquarius, I believe, and so it's going to be very interesting. Aquarius holds, that's our air, that's our information. It's a lot going on. And I personally don't have an issue with Pluto, but I have an issue in how it affects everybody else. So, anyways, so as far as 2024, the reason why I'm bringing this up, as far as 2024, we don't have all the information yet because that meeting has not commenced. January 20th hasn't happened yet. So in these meetings, what I will tell you, and this is how I get agitated sometimes when I hear other humans speak about how we are, we're kind of inferior to those beings, or the common teaching is like, well, imagine them or the gods, that kind of thing, as these big, the archangels, that kind of thing. They're these big celestial beings, and we're just these little ants on the earth. That drives me nuts. So I had a little bit of my soapbox there. That drives me nuts because that means people aren't really understanding the impact that humans have on the rest of the system. We have a lot of impact. As above, so below. As below, so above. We are that middle ground. And it's because we are the ones that are attached to Gaia. This is really all about Gaia, folks. It is really all about her. I mean, whew. She is really the firstborn. Because we are attached to her, we were given the grace and the duty to serve and protect and love her, and we are a part of her. What we do affects so much. And the only thing that is somewhat outside of us affecting them and them affecting us, is the planets. This is why so many scriptures say, look to the stars, look to the sky. And when I say look to the stars, there is also a reason why I call all of you stars. So, I hope that kind of people heard that. I will maybe talk about that at some point. But what happens planetarily wise does affect the whole scope, right? Even the celestial beings look to the stars, look to the planets, look to what's going on, because that is the cosmic overall energy that can play out for not just us, but also them. But I have to iterate here again. What happens here affects up there. What happens up there affects down here. There is no separation, and we are not these little ants to put ourselves in that such a low. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So in regards to that, these meetings often discuss what's happening here with us. I mean, there's some other stuff that's discussed, but it's so interesting. There are beings that care about us and really believe in humankind. They've been trying to believe in humankind, especially, when they were trying to teach us stuff. That kind of try to argue our salvation, opposed to those that are like, let's just hit the restart button again. These humans are not getting it. Hence how cycles start and stop. And I will tell you the degree, because all things are in degrees, right? I mean, that is the order of operation in many ways. In our little small finite ways and our huge ways, it does come down to as simple as, are the humans percentage-wise, degree-wise, more in love or fear? And those who are like, yeah, we're not interested in the humans and we want to, destruction, they're doing their job perfectly. They entice fear, because if fear wins, which fear produces anger, hatred, violence, destruction, fear produces that, they win. And eventually, cycles end. But if the lovely humans are understanding love and trying to understand their frequency and how much we affect other things, well then we walk through a possible destruction of a cycle and we create the new earth. So it's in degrees. Where are the humans at? That will be a topic of conversation, I can guarantee you, at this huge conference on the 20th. It will be, because we have been riding the fence for so much that, I mean, we became very close call, and they gave us some extra time before a decision is made, right? And when a decision is made, it's not like that plays out in that moment, right? It can take a long time to then destroy or recreate, right? It can take a while. So with that being said, not everything is known yet of 2024, because the humans, we have to make decisions, folks. We have to decide some stuff. We have to decide on where we want to have our focus lie, where we want to be in life, what we care about, right? So that was a very long um, explanation as to, in January I'm probably going to have to do multiple episodes about some of the stuff being said today and post January 20th. Which I will tell you, all of you will feel that. You will feel, well, what Pluto's going to do, and you will feel that conference. So, because as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without. That was added so much later for us humans to understand. So within, so without. We are creating this matrix. We are the builders. Okay, so I'm going to just tell you. So my handwriting's all scribbly because I was in communication. But they did say, tell people about the galactic meeting. Explain to humans in love or fear. Because that's what creates, like we're creating, we're everybody talks about the simulation, the matrix. Well, we're creating. So then they said, regardless, we can give you this information. Regardless that January 2020 or January 20th has not happened, we can give you this information. So this is what I wrote down, folks, and I'll read it. So, multitude of natural disasters, big and small, begins April 2024. Many mudslides, rains, fires, and hurricanes. And I will tell you guys, when they say rains, I mean they mean rains. Storms, I mean rains. Shift of the poles and preparation for the great crack. So I have mentioned before, I refer to, like, if any of you have looked at like the Edgar Cayce map, where parts of the, our continents have gone to the sea, and the Mississippi River splits things, that kind of thing. That was told to me a while ago, and I refer to it as it was referred to me as the Great Crack. It's because of the shift of the poles. This is where everybody's like, oh, climate change, climate change. We'd be going through this anyways. It's time for the poles to shift. We'd be going through it anyways. But we can help Gaia go through it so much smoother because we are attached to her and our frequency is with her. I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship, and we can help her through it. But through that process, there are, regardless, a lot of people will say that, our weather is being controlled, which it is somewhat. It is. It's being manipulated. But a lot of this would already be happening. A lot of this, they're just, as they do, as those who are, against humans, they've been doing this from the beginning of time, taking the energies that would already be present and utilizing them for their advantage. When we could do the same thing, but we're not utilizing the energies that are always present for our advantage, right? So when the Great Crack came up, I will tell you, it was told to me it was going to happen. I mean, most of us in this chat, most of us would either be already gone or kind of on our way out, but things seem to be moving faster. um, based on us, that it might happen sooner than later. And I don't mean soon in like the next 5 years. Um, I will have to confirm more about that, and I will probably talk about the Great Crack at some other time. But do know that the natural disasters, they're here to, what are we going to do, humans? What are we going to do? How do we respond? Do we love each other and love the earth through it? Or do we focus on conspiracies and not serve each other? I'm going to read it again and then I'm going to move on, because I'm sure all this stuff will come up as I go further into 2024. Multitude of natural disasters, big and small, begins April 2024. Many mudslides, rains, fires, and hurricanes. Shift of the poles and preparation for the Great Crack. So I'm going to move on. People's senses will be on fire. Fire of ambition and purpose. The sixth sense, as you call it, so they're saying you call that, we're using that term because that's what you people call that. The sixth sense, as you call it, will begin to reign in late 2024 as people no longer believe what is projected. Okay, so let me go up. People's senses will be on fire. Fire of ambition and purpose as well. So when the term like fire like that is used, is think of that element. We even use that as like, oh man, that's fire, in today's world, as a good thing, as heightened, as in pay attention to this, as in, in your face, because it's fire. It's very, think of the sun. Think of all your fire signs that you know out there. I'm a sun. I'm a Leo, right? My sun sign is Leo. So I'm very, when you see me, I'm in your face. I'm there. I'm shining, right? You can't avoid it. You can't avoid fire, right? Our senses. Our senses will come alive. Very much so. In that very large, masculine, very powerful way. Fire of ambition and purpose. We're going to go through a massive shift as individuals and a collective thereof, of really striving and feeling, what people would refer to as like, oh man, you got the fire of the Holy Spirit. These are the fire of the senses. Like, whew, I need to do something with all this. I am bigger than the ant that I've been told I am. I am this, right? Finding that purpose. And it'll be on the forefront of people's minds. The sixth sense, as we like to call it here, will begin to reign in late 2024. And when they say reign, that means like reign of power, not storms, not that. That term reign of, think of power. People's abilities are going to be in full scope for them. And I do want to put out there, folks, that is difficult. And so we do have to have more compassion for ourselves and others. And just, this is a side note from me, not take things so personally. Because when a human comes into their powers, it's hard to know how to be responsible with such things. And so things might be mismanaged on an individual basis, which then can cause others to be offensive, which then can cause more separation. But as I read again, the sixth sense, as we call it, right, will begin to reign in late 2024 as people no longer believe what is projected. So a lot of people are going to be, psychic downloads. They'll see something and they'll go, that's not real. Downloads. Understanding how this matrix works. Downloads. Understanding that we are creating and building all the time. So a lot of rejection of the projection, which is awesome. I reject all that crazy chaos projection all the time. But that also leaves people very vulnerable as to, okay, well then, if none of this is real, what do we do about it, right? How do we create? As people no longer believe in what is projected. So that's great. That's also a big reason why Pluto is going into Aquarius, right? So a lot of broken hearts though at the beginning. I mean, it's going to be difficult. Let me continue. Then they went on to say, the eclipse in April 2024 can bring mass awareness either through destruction or deep contemplation. Humans have not yet decided. That's why I had to bring up what I brought up at the beginning. I mean, beautiful ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, you lovely humans, you light. We really are creating, right? We really are projecting this matrix in coexistence with other beings, right? In coexistence with each other, in coexistence of the earth. We have not decided. There are still so many people that are not understanding that they're thriving off the destruction. Sorry, I have to pause. There's a lot of people. I mean, more than they are the majority. They are the majority still. I don't think that's going to be the case because I have hope, and hope is so powerful. That thrive off of the destruction. In whatever way, shape, or form it is. It gets their kicks, man. It's either how they pay the bills or how they get their fire going. I honestly don't care what it is. But there's a lot of people that is still where they're looking, where they're projecting. So, humans have not yet decided. I'm going to read that again. The eclipse in April 2024 can bring mass awareness either through destruction or deep contemplation. Please pay attention to that deep contemplation because I'm gonna keep going. And y'all gotta decide. I mean, seriously. What are you choosing to partake in? That's really just the basic foundation of, are you thriving in destruction or not? I mean, that's the first step. going to keep going. Egypt is to be watched and learned from. Lost civilizations will appear in people's mindsets and draw forth new possibilities. I remember last year I had Alex, the ganja shaman, on here, and he talked about he believed that X that's going to mark the spot over America in April 2024 was going to bring a lot of ancient Egyptian downloads to people. Cool. I'll probably see if I can get Alex back on here again. When they say Egypt is to be watched and learned from, that means present, that means way long ago. Right? That means both. Time is fluid. That means both. Lost civilizations will appear in people's mindsets and draw forth new possibilities. I do feel that there might be, because of the Earth preparing with the shift of the poles and all these natural disasters, some stuff that a very small facet of people know about might not be able to be hidden anymore. Right? A mudslide might come through and we go, holy shit, what's right there? Right? Who knows? That's up in the air. But either way, lost civilizations will appear in people's mindsets. This could be from the Egyptian downloads. This could be from remembering who you are and where you come from. It could be from South America past, Egyptian past. It could be from all over the stuff. It could be people that start finally realizing there's been many Atlantises. There are endings of cycles and beginnings of cycles. Let's not do it. Let's not end horribly, full destruction. Why don't we learn? Why don't we learn from those lost civilizations will appear in people's mindsets? Why don't we learn that a lot of us have gone through a destruction of a cycle? Let's do it different. Let's do it different. Let's just walk on through to the other side, you know? Break on through to the other side, right? As it is sung. And draw forth new possibilities. New possibilities as to what? How we could live better? How to not to live? Right? Why did that civilization fall in the first place? How to not to live? I'm going to move on. This I have decided, I think I'll do next week on this, because it's definitely not going to be the 20th by then, but I can talk about this a lot next week. So, then they said, the rise of the native has begun, and the great healing across the earth. The American natives will be the focus for many to understand the truth about nature and human discovery. Human discovery must be understood so to change how it is done. This entire part I'm probably gonna do next Friday, more in depth, but I had to say it. So there are here in the Americas, there's a big native prophecy. I'm gonna cover this next week, like I said. I refer to it as the rise of the native. And it has been such a joy for me, because I was raised with that prophecy. It has been such a joy for me to witness here on this World Wide Web how many other continents, countries have started to look at our natives, um, learning their history, learning how they lived, and really resonating. And I mean, folks, I know people in the UK that are getting very deep into studying our natives. India, I know people in India that are like, we're learning about your natives. This is fascinating. There is a prophecy there, and it's beautiful. For me, there's some stuff to it that might be a bit, but for me it's good. For many, it's going to be a big transition. But I refer to it as the rise of the native. Okay? And like I said, they went for so they went from Egyptian to the America's indigenous population, right? They just did that. I will tell you, Courtney, later in life, Court here, that is going to be my final book. I am going to be writing books. I just talked to myself at whatever, 60, whatever the other day. Kind of needed a little bit of comfort from her. That is going to be my final book. Taking ancient Egypt and our natives and putting them together. That's going to be my final book. It's probably where people are going to know me from. That's way down the line, which is fine. I'm groovy with that. I ain't ready for all that yet. It's going to be my fourth book. I'm fine. Because that is how this is going to go. This is how it's going to go. It's the only way that it can go. And I can compare it to, someone asked me a couple of weeks ago, they said, how do you know your life path 33? They said, because your numbers, blah, blah, blah. I said, this is it. This is how this goes for me. I'm using this as an example as to how this is going to go with they did it, folks. They went from Egypt to our natives, right? Here's kind of how I'm giving this as an example as to how we need to look at this. Am I a life path 33? Yes. Have I been doing this over and over and over again? Yes. Do I have my wisdom? Yes. Do I live my life as a 33? No. I don't unless I'm here with you. I live my life as a 6, as a healer. Do I have all the knowledge and wisdom of a 33 in me? Yep. When you meet me on the street, when you're in one of my class, if we're just hanging out, you're sitting around bonfire with me. Am I a 33? No. I'm living as a 6. I'm living as a healer. The two have to play together. The two have to be one. It's how we truly heal. As I said, the rise of the native has begun. The great healing across the earth. So I live my life as a 6, as a healer. But am I a 33? Yes. Same as all this ancient Egyptian science magic. Will it be known? Yes. Can we use it? Yes. Do we utilize it at times? Yes. What's more important? Native. Live like the natives. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, that's next Friday. That's next Friday. But I do have to pop in real quick and say, the American natives will be the focus of many to understand the truth about nature and human discovery. Human discovery must be understood so to change how it is done. And that does, in a lot of ways, represent what happened when the Americas, when over here was discovered, and how all that was handled. We have to very much, yes, look at that. Because I'll bring it back to lost civilizations will appear in people's mindsets. We have to do things differently if we are going to be traveling, possibly galactically. I know the whole space program is going to be very much in full effect. Are we going to do it differently? Also, when we are creating a new Earth and we're discovering new things about nature, because right before, the American natives will be the focus for many to understand the truth about nature. To understand the truth about nature. Well, this is a very, that's huge, people. I mean, the stuff about science that is going to be coming out. I will tell you, when I finally do start this series about order, order. Do you know how the Akashic told me to start that? Because I was like, guys, it hits so many parts. So how do you want me to start really teaching people order? Like the principles of hermetics, which is so 3D, but yet I can still use them. They told me to start with cells. Like the cells of our bodies, the cells that are in all of nature. Cells. I have to go to that. Cells. So when people really start understanding nature, and the human discovery, what we have done, not just to when we discover huge new things, also down to the human discovery of what appears to be the finite little baby cell and what we do with that. Human discovery must be understood so to change how it is done. So that's something we're all going to have to walk through, I think. It's something we all have to walk through to get that full scope. And I'm going to do my best. In trying to help people understand order from going to the cells and then into nature. I mean, it is very clear, folks, that to understand the order of operations of this matrix, it doesn't matter if it's galactic, here, anywhere, as above, so below, as below, so above. To understand the order, you have to look at nature. You have to study it. You have to know, and then you have to look at, holy crap, out of arrogance and ignorance, this is what we did. So that's a whole nother, I got a lot to talk about in 2024. So, I got one more little thing to say here, folks. I hope y'all are doing. They said, last thing before the 20th, meaning we can give you this little. This is what they gave me as a sneak peek, because the January 20th is going to decide a lot of things. Based on what are we deciding? Us beloved humans. Though, and here's the other thing too, because there's one last little thing. I know there's going to be a big rise in folks identifying who they are, like where their point of origin is. Could be from a different planet, could be from a different this, could be from all sorts of places. Their original origin, right? Why we came here in the first place. Some humans were created, right? Some humans were created. We get those from the scripts. Cool. That's fine. That's fine. We're all living here amongst each other. And I hear so much judgment. I really do. You know, we like to refer to them as the lowbrow, the bottom feeders, the low intelligent, the idiots of the land, the this and that. Well, you know what? That we're all still here. It's very disappointing that those who might be from previous cycles, other galactic origins, what have you, are still being distracted and entranced by by separation. It is very, very disheartening because we're all living here together and we're all connected. There is no separation. We're all wearing these meat suits, right? With that being said, they're part of the conscious decision making as well, same as us. Humans, just humans, period, right? We haven't decided yet. Are we going to choose love or are we going to choose fear? And what's so funny about that is that we're so kind of, I hate using the word programmed. I guess we're just used to things. But we're so very used to getting our rocks off in destruction. I mean, think about any reality television show. Think of anything that, I mean, it doesn't matter. We are so programmed that way to get our rocks off that way. When getting your rocks off in love is a whole lot funner. You know, so much, it is so much grander and greater and so much lovelier to choose love and get your rocks off that way instead of focusing on, and this is just me personally, to each their own. I think I'm opposed, maybe just because I'm tired of hearing it, and this is me speaking, not the Akashic. I'm really tired of hearing people say, well, we have to help others become aware. We have to help others know. That's why I'm talking about all these conspiracies and getting all this stuff out here and speaking of all this fear, destruction, fear, destruction. To help others know. No, you're not. You're not. Nobody's actually doing that. I mean, if it's not out, if they don't know, they don't know, and they probably might never know, and it's not the course to take, right? Because then we're just feeding that machine. So no one's actually serving anyone there. Like, really, truly, no one's serving anyone there. We're not revealing anything because there's going to be those that know and those that don't know. Hence, why repeatedly, not just in the Christ conscious, but also other ascended masters, they would say things like, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And if they ain't got that, you move on. If they don't have that, you move on. You don't try desperately to have the people understand or try desperately and continuously talk negative, destruction, fear in hopes that someone new randomly is going to hear your words. That is, no, sorry. We're beyond that. We're past that. That's so 2014. That's 10 years ago. So no, we're past that. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, should be our focus on the divine all the time, and that be projected. So, we're past all that. That's why I stay out of it. So, this is the last thing. The last thing. 2024, I'll hold this up so I can get all close with y'all. 2024 is for individual changes, deep insights, and letting go of fears. Without the individual, there is no collective. I will hold true to that, hands down, all of 2024 and beyond. Remember that they said the eclipse in April 2024 can bring mass awareness either through destruction or deep contemplation. 2024 is for individual changes, deep insights, and letting go of fears. Without the individual, there is no collective. So, once again, do we choose love or do we choose fear? Are we going to take whatever may happen, right? And I'm sure after the 20th I'll do another show because we will know a bit more, right? Whatever may happen, we have a choice every day. We have a choice every day. Every day. Multiple times a day. You can get off from watching me right now and choose differently. Or choose love. Or you can choose fear. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. As an individual, because you are an individual star. Just as there are that many individual stars. Don't you love how light reflects light? Light reflects light. Oh my God. We can choose. We can choose. So we can choose to take 2024 for that deep contemplation, those changes that we need to make, the letting go of fears, the deep insights. Remember, our senses will be on fire. So, that is what I have for you today, folks. Oh, for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, we're going to move forward. I'm going to say this card because I pulled this card. I am starting to try to do little shorts, pull cards for people. Why not? This is the card that came out for today. 31, magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestations. Oh, that light is glaring. Lovely individuals, beautiful stars. I started this program today saying, every day I accept myself. Every day I accept myself. We can take 2024 and through magic, the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestations. All that is required is for you to believe in yourself. Believe in you do choose love. Believe in what love looks like to you. Believe in the deep insights that you have. Believe in letting go of the fears. Believe that you, me, there is no collective without the individual. That we, the I, we, one, can change this, can change anything. Humans have not yet decided. You can decide today. You can decide today. So I will be back, folks. I believe next Friday I will talk about the rise of the native. That might even be a two-parter. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have to do this whole 2024 thing for a little while before I get into the order aspect, because once I get into teaching order, that's going to be pretty big, folks. I mean, I'm going to have to, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, that's all I can say about that, folks. So thank you, everybody, for coming. It's been a pleasure serving you. I do serve all of you. If you want to support this channel, I do have a $2 tier on Patreon that also gets you the Akashic monthly messages early like the other patrons get. If you want to do $5, that gets you the 2 private classes twice a month, and January is great to do so because both classes in January are going to be review of everything that we've kind of covered in Patreon over the years to get everybody on the same page, especially all about learning to work with pyramids, because I work with pyramids and I'm teaching the patrons how to work with pyramids for manifestation, telepathic, traveling, all sorts of things. Ancient Egypt, Indian native. I might hold all this information, but do I walk gently on the land? Yes, I do. So, I love you all so much. Keep shining, you beautiful stars. Light reflects light. Light reflects light. Please, shine, shine, shine. And if the sun is out today where you are, let it shine upon you. So, love y'all. Peace.